Asha Degree. Gone in the Night, Top 3 Theories. Asha Degree was just 9 years old when she vanished from her home in Shelby, North Carolina on Valentine's Day, 2000. According to her parents, Asha disappeared in the middle of the night during a power outage caused by a thunderstorm. Bizarrely, it appeared she had packed her backpack and left the house of her own accord, locking the door behind her. Hours later, several motorists reported seeing a young girl matching Asha's description walking along Highway 18. One even claimed to have seen her duck into a shed off the highway. But the story doesn't add up. Why would a shy, obedient 9-year-old afraid of the dark set out alone on a stormy night without even taking a flashlight or coat? How could she have walked for miles along the muddy highway without leaving a single footprint or trace of evidence? For over 2 decades, Asha's disappearance has baffled investigators and online sleuths alike. Her case remains one of the most perplexing mysteries of our time. So, what really happened to Asha Degree that fateful night? Did she leave to meet someone in secret? Could her parents know more than they've let on? Or was she the victim of an opportunistic predator? Join us as we dive deep into the case files, examining the evidence and dissecting the top 3 theories about what may have happened to Asha. Perhaps together we can finally uncover the truth behind one of America's most haunting cold cases. Theory 1. Asha left on her own and met with foul play. One of the most prevalent theories in Asha Degree's case is that she left her home voluntarily in the early morning hours of February 14, 2000. Only to meet with foul play at the hands of an opportunistic predator. This theory hinges on the eyewitness accounts of several motorists who claim to have seen a young girl, matching Asha's description, walking along Highway 18 between 3:30 and 4:15 a.m. One key witness, a truck driver named Jeff Rupa, even reported seeing the girl run into a shed off the highway when he tried to approach her. When investigators searched the shed, they found several items that Asha's parents would later identify as belonging to her, including a hair bow, a pencil, and a Mickey Mouse hair clip. This suggests that Asha may have indeed been in the shed at some point. Over a year later, Asha's backpack was discovered, wrapped in trash bags, buried along Highway 18 about 26 miles from her home. Inside were several of her personal belongings. Some have taken this as proof that Asha packed a bag and left of her own free will. After all, if there was an intruder or she was taken from her home, why would she have a backpack with her? However, there are also several pieces of evidence that cast doubt on this theory. Firstly, Asha was known to be shy, well-behaved, and afraid of the dark. It seems out of character for her to venture out alone in the middle of the night during a thunderstorm. Secondly, if Asha did walk along the highway, why weren't any footprints found by investigators, despite the muddy conditions? And why would she leave the house without a coat or a flashlight? Finally, some of the items found in Asha's backpack, like a NKOTB nightgown and a children's book, were not recognized by her parents. This raises the possibility that someone else staged the backpack scene after the fact. While the eyewitness accounts and the discovery of Asha's backpack lend credence to the runaway theory, the lack of physical evidence along her supposed route and her missing personal items that she would have needed that night suggests that there may be more to the story. Theory 2. Asha's parents were involved. Another disturbing theory that has gained traction among some online sleuths is that Asha's parents, Harold and Aquila Degree, were somehow involved in their daughter's disappearance. Proponents of this theory point to several inconsistencies and oddities in the parents' statements and behavior. For one, they note that there was a striking lack of forensic evidence to support the idea that Asha left the house on her own. No clear footprints or scent trail were found leading away from the home, despite the wet and muddy conditions that night. Moreover, some have questioned the timeline of events provided by the Degrees. In early interviews, their recollection of when the power went out, when the children went to sleep, and when Harold last saw Asha appear to shift and change. While it's not uncommon for witness accounts to vary, particularly during traumatic events, these discrepancies have raised eyebrows. There's also the matter of Harold's supposed candy run in the middle of the night. Some find it odd that he would leave the house during a storm. and wonder if this trip actually occurred, or if it served as a cover story for something more sinister. Additionally, the fact that the Degrees had a seemingly perfect family image with no history of abuse or neglect has ironically made some more suspicious. Could this be a case of things being too perfect to be true? However, it's crucial to note that there is no hard evidence linking Asha's parents to her disappearance. By all accounts, they have been fully cooperative with law enforcement, even taking polygraph tests, which they passed. The idea that the Degrees could have maintained a facade of innocence for over 2 decades, all while concealing the truth about their daughter's fate, seems difficult to believe for many. Wouldn't the stress and guilt of such a monstrous secret eventually cause them to slip up or confess? Ultimately, while the theory of parental involvement may be tantalizing for armchair detectives, it's essential to remember the human cost of leveling such serious accusations without concrete proof. The Degrees have already suffered an immense loss, and unfounded speculation may only compound their pain. Theory 3. Asha was groomed by a predator. A third theory that has been proposed is that Asha may have been groomed by a sexual predator who lured her out of her home that night. Grooming refers to the process by which a predator gains a child's trust, often through flattery, gifts, and secret keeping, with the ultimate goal of sexual abuse. Some believe that Asha could have been communicating with an online predator, possibly in chat rooms or via email, who manipulated her into leaving her house to meet them. However, it's important to note that internet access was much less common in 2000, particularly for a sheltered 9-year-old girl. One piece of evidence that has been cited to support the grooming theory is the presence of a New Kids on the Block nightgown in Asha's backpack. NKOTB was a popular boy band in the late 80s and early 90s, but they would have been much less relevant to a child of Asha's age in 2000. Some speculate that the nightgown could have been a gift from an older predator trying to win Asha's affection. Over the years, various potential suspects have been proposed, including a man named Raymond E. Moses. Moses ran a youth boot camp not far from where Asha's backpack was found, and he had faced allegations of child abuse in the past. However, no concrete evidence has ever linked Moses to Asha's case. While the grooming theory could potentially explain some of the strange aspects of Asha's disappearance, like her leaving in the middle of the night, many find it less plausible for a few reasons. Firstly, Asha was described as a shy, cautious child who was wary of strangers. It seems unlikely that she would have trusted someone online enough to meet them in the middle of the night. Secondly, the logistics of a predator convincing a 9-year-old to sneak out during a specific time frame without any direct physical contact or influence seem challenging. Most sexual predators prefer to build a physical relationship with their victims before attempting something so risky. Lastly, if Asha was indeed groomed, one might expect there to be some digital trail or evidence of communication with the predator. However, no such evidence has been found. While the grooming theory can't be entirely ruled out, it seems less likely than some of the other proposed explanations for Asha's disappearance. As with all aspects of this perplexing case, more evidence is needed to draw any firm conclusions. As we've seen, the disappearance of Asha Degree remains one of the most baffling and heartbreaking cold cases in recent memory. Each of the main theories we've explored, that Asha left on her own and met with foul play, that her parents were somehow involved, or that she was groomed by a predator, have their own compelling pieces of evidence, but also significant holes and unanswered questions. The eyewitness sightings and the discovery of Asha's backpack suggest that she may have indeed left her home that night, but the lack of physical evidence along her supposed route and the strange items found in her bag cast doubt on this narrative. The inconsistencies in her parents' statements and the lack of forensic evidence in the house have led some to suspect their involvement, but there's no hard proof. And the idea of them maintaining a facade of innocence for so long seems difficult to believe. The grooming theory could explain Asha's unusual behavior that night, but it also faces logistical challenges and a lack of supporting digital evidence. Ultimately, after 2 decades of investigation, we are left with more questions than answers. The truth about what happened to Asha Degree that Valentine's Day in 2000 remains elusive. But one thing is certain, Asha's story has touched the hearts of countless people around the world who continue to discuss her case, analyze the evidence, and hope for a resolution. It's this continued interest and discussion that keeps Asha's memory alive and the possibility of justice open. Perhaps one day, whether through a breakthrough in forensic technology, a deathbed confession, or simply a fresh perspective on the existing evidence, we will finally learn the truth about Asha's fate. Until then, we owe it to her to keep asking questions, keep seeking answers, and keep her story in the light. Asha Degree may be gone, but she is not forgotten, and as long as there are people who care about her case, there is still hope for justice.